Good evening, everyone. I am Niharika Sondhi, and I'm the founder and the managing director of EdNet Consultants, which is a premier academic consultancy which was established in 2002. In over 18 years of our assisting and guiding students with their academic aspirations, we have never, ever encountered a situation such as this. That is close to coronavirus. Considering the sensitivity of the circumstances, we felt the need to reach out to the students and the parents across the country in order to help them be constructively engaged and consistently motivated during this lockdown, which now clocks in day 46. Hence, I welcome you all to the webinar on skill enhancement techniques amidst COVID-19. I'm here to clarify your doubts and also help you streamline your chain of thoughts regarding how to hone your intellect and creativity despite the ongoing global crisis. I would like to actually start the session with Ikeda Sensei's quote. So today is a very big day for, the Buddhist Soka Gakkai organization. And that is why I thought that it's important to share his quote today with you all, where he defines youth. And he says, what is it to stay young? It is the inner strength not to stagnate or grow resistance to change, but to stay open to all possibilities. It's an excellent example of these words is how young kids of today have adjusted and adapted to the paradigm change and opened new doors of exploration. It is the power of their spirits that refuses to succumb to complacency and thrives ever forward. We should not take it easy. We need to move forward with determination, and only then can we be victorious in whatever we choose to do. Now I know that the schools are shut, all outdoor activities have been cancelled, inevitable separation from friends, and having to stay indoors at all times. Most children are indeed going through a rough time right now. That they're finding it difficult to handle excessive digital schoolwork, balance out a daily schedule or a routine, and also stay encouraged and hopeful. This is precisely the reason why parents need to take extra care of their children now and demonstrate their unconditional support and valuable guidance. I have with me today a few distinguished guest speakers who will shed further light through their expertise on how you can best utilize this period and maximize your productivity while staying at home. The speakers will be introduced later as soon as I finish my session, because I do not want to take that light away from the speakers. And I really appreciate them coming here and sharing their insights with all of you. So in order to address the concerns of the parents and even the students, our EdNet team, Gayatri, will showcase collated statistics and research survey results from parents. This survey has helped us to focus on the parents' dilemmas and maybe even find possible solution for the same through this webinar. So we will be showing you the results, and I will also be trying to, help student parents, assist them in their own dilemma. So in the next hour, we will also address relevant concerns of the students and provide guidance on activities you may take up for profile enhancement, leading to successful college admissions and for enhanced mental well-being. Time is of essence here, so let's begin. So I think Adia has coming up with the first question.
Yes, ma'am. So firstly, good evening, everybody. My name is Adya Gupta. I'm a student at Modern School Barakhamba Road and studying in grade 10. So my school has been closed since about the 14th of March. And this has impacted my daily activities as for everybody. So my question is that how can I stay motivated and self-driven during this lockdown period? And because there's an obvious lack in my sense of accomplishment, because I'm meeting fewer targets than what I had planned at the beginning of the year, ma'am, for myself. So what can I do about this?
That's a good question, and as a counselor with extensive experience, I've understood the need for organization, routines, discipline, and planning for young students. Firstly, Adya, it is very important to manage your time. You must make a routine at least for 5 to 6 days a week. Make your weekend your cheat day. Like, when you're dieting and you have your cheat days, well, let your weekend be your cheat day. Get up in the mornings as you would when you were going to school. Wear your school uniform and sit on a table like you would be if you were in school to attend your online classes. You may exercise like when you would have had a physical training class in school. Eat your meals at fixed times and establish a sleep pattern, as these basic lifestyle activities will calm you and instill a sense of discipline. Do not look at the lockdown as like your summer break, but as a kind of school that you are attending, learning in, but remotely. So now where your targets are concerned, list them and see how you can accomplish them online. I believe we can accomplish anything that we want, and look at the positivity of the situation and act accordingly. You can research, you can delve deep into online learning, you can go into reading, you can go into volunteering, you can do your internships, and so on. All you need to do, Adya, is just have a plan of action, which will give you that focus and that direction as to what you need to do. I hope I was able to answer your question.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I got it.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
everything is about making a plan, and
Yes,
there's so
ma'am.
much to do, but at the end of the day, it's 24 hours. How do you be productive in that 24 hours? A proper plan of action needs to be drawn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we have the next question?
So I think we have a next question coming from Ishan Singh.
Yeah. Hi, Sean.
So good evening, everyone. I'm Ishan Singh Sarna, and I'm a student of DPS Puram, and I'm currently in 11th grade. So first off, I'd like to tell you that I joined EdNet when I was in 10th grade, and both my brothers have been guided by Niharika ma'am, and I just can't thank her enough for all the counseling and support and guidance that she's given to us. So about my questions, so being physically present at school when I was at school, so it gave me a lot of opportunities to participate in various club activities, inter-school competitions, join these, athletic teams, go for exchange programs, leadership programs. So along those lines, my question is that how can I showcase skills like leadership and teamwork while I'm at home during this lockdown period?
Hi, Ishan. How come you didn't talk to me about these questions when I just engaged with you a few days back?
Just slipped out of my mind.
I guess you wanted to put up a question in the webinar. Well, let me address this to the best I can right now. So, Ishan, you can partake in several activities that will demonstrate your strong leadership and other life skills. Yeah, this is the time to be creative, as even the college admission understands that your plans have been disrupted, and they will now review your applications in unconventional ways. How interesting, isn't that? So, what is leadership? Leadership is taking an initiative, motivating someone, organizing, and leading, right? So, you can initiate like minded groups, for instance, Start a club of like-minded kids whose interest is in athletics. You're into athletics, right? You're an athlete yourself. Get together once or twice a week where you can discuss your sports, write blogs. You can also correspond and communicate online with people across the world who share your same interests. This is a great way to be connected to and not get isolated from your passion, right? Positive engagement like this in any discipline, could be academia, could be sports, could be gaming, baking, fitness, can help in unimaginable ways. Additionally, use this chance and your opportunity to teach your juniors who could be weak in particular subjects by making study groups or organize fundraising initiatives for those in need in these trying times, and many more of such helpful activities. Working together as a team at home with your family by helping them in household chores is also a good way of showing your contribution towards your responsibilities at home. Taking charge of your grandparents or mentoring your siblings also constitutes leadership. I believe you can do a lot sitting at home, which will show your leadership skills through various examples, right?
Yeah.
So was that okay? And should we move on to the next question?
So thank you so much, Ishan. We have our next question coming from Jia Gupta from Mumbai.
Jia, okay.
Yeah.
So Jia, what do we have here? What's your question?
So first, hello everyone, good evening. I'm Jia Gupta, a student studying at the Cathedral and John Conning School from Mumbai. So currently I'm attending online classes which are being conducted by my school. So we're handed a lot of assignments on a daily basis. So it's safe to say I've been busier than ever. So I'm wondering, at the same time I'm attending these online classes, college application impressive. So I had planned on internships and summer school, but my question is, what can I really do from home?
Okay. You know, this is a dilemma, but you'll be surprised, Jia, how much a person can do from home. And ask me, I'm going through this for the past 46 days. I know when the urgency of preparing for college admissions looms over your head, you might be dealing with a lot of confusion and anxiety. So certainly this lockdown has put a dent on your plans, whether it is for internships or could be for your summer school that you had intended on attending overseas and so on. Luckily, we live in the digital world where even isolation does not cut you off from the rest of the world. There's several internships available for students that can be carried out fully online. And with the EdNest team research, I have been able to come up with some profiles that students might be interested in applying for. The good thing about many of the internships that are available right now are that they're equally focused on learning, you know, giving you the most required hands-on experience. So this is for all the children who are present here, and not just for you, Jia. Students who wish to apply their computer knowledge can go for web development or mobile application developer profiles. Art and design students in particular might be keen on taking up graphic design positions or look into emerging field of UI design. Even students who are passionate about reading can apply as book readers for publishing houses. You know, and all you need to do is just read books. Lastly, we have a number of profiles for students interested in business development, sales or marketing. As more and more companies move towards online platforms, there's an increased demand for interns adept at social media management. So if you spend too much time on Instagram, let's see, you know, why don't you think of being productive and take up internships of that nature, which has your interest? It would also be a good idea for students to visit sites like letslearn.com or virtualinternships.com. I'll make sure to leave these links to those in our description when a recording of this webinar is posted on YouTube. Yes. We've just launched our channel recently, and we would have some exciting plans in store for the platform. So do like and subscribe, and you will find in a lot of those informations on YouTube, on our channels. And in case you don't, you can always get in touch with us at ask@ednetconsultants.com. Now, most students also seem to be grieving the loss of their opportunity to attend a summer school, let's say. So while the inability to visit a college campus physically is undeniably upsetting, I'm glad to inform you that many colleges like Harvard, Yale, Cornell, among others, have moved their entire summer session for high school students online. So pre-college summer programs are a great addition to any aspiring international student's resume. And this is something you will definitely want to look into. You should also avail of this time to attend your school choices webinars. So let's say, you know, your dream school is, okay, let's say your dream school is Emory University in the United States. Why don't you attend their webinars, attend their forums, you know, do some campus tours, get connected with alums. So this is a good time for you to go deeper and delve deeper and into understanding of which universities you want to apply to and why, and sync your interest with what the university has to offer. Now, how do I make my college application impressive? Good question. Everyone asks me this question. There's several factors that are considered, and it is to each individual based on his or her own personal profile. Can you make your college application impressive? So something which is relevant to A may just not be relevant to you. So you really need to introspect and then list down what all you need to do, which will make an impact. You can get in touch with me later on and we can discuss the same, right?
Thank you, ma'am.
Do you think that was good, Gia? Was I able to help you on that? She's muted. Everyone's muted.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank
right.
you.
So let's go to the next question, Gayatri.
Yes, I think we have it from Vidushi.
Yeah.
Vidushi Sahani.
Hi everyone, my name is Vidushi. I'm from the Heritage School. I'm currently in class 12th. So my dream was to get into an Ivy League school, but because of the current circumstances, I am not so sure anymore because even the SATs are not being conducted yet. Also, I was the sports captain at my school, and now all the sports activities have been shut down. So I feel like I do not have a space to express myself and add variety to my resume. So my question to you is that how can I stay motivated and prepare well in this kind of a situation?
Okay, so Vidushi, the most important thing is if I've got your question correct, then to sum it up, what you want to know is that how can I enhance myself intellectually? Is that what it is over and above the summer schools and internships? What is it that I can do more that can, you know, up my resume or up my profile, which will make it an interesting read for the universities, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what you were trying to say. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in this kind of a situation, when we talk about how do I enhance myself intellectually, so I think reading is very, very important. And I'm sure that there must have been times, Vidushi, when you really wanted to curl yourself in your favorite corner and just read a book. Well, this is your time, because read whatever you want to that fascinates you, interests you. as this is the time when you can enhance your reading as well as your analytical skills, something which you may not have had the time to do so during school days, right? The next thing I would suggest to you is to do some research work, as that will allow you to accelerate your intellectual strengths while preparing for the kind of writing and reading that you will have to take up in college. Moreover, it can give you a moment to contemplate the reality of what we are going through right now, and perhaps even come up with some plausible solutions. As you might already know, EdNet has started our own online research initiative, where we associate our students with college professors in India and overseas to help them create and publish their research papers or articles. We've had some interesting ideas come in from our students, and we are very excited to see how their work unfolds. So I think delving into research and understanding as to how to conduct research is a very, very good opportunity to enhance yourself intellectually. Additionally, online learning from various online portals such as Udacity or Udemy or Coursera and edX is also a good idea. I have always encouraged online reading among students who do not like to take a book and read it physically. Or, I mean, if I have to also suggest something, I know a lot of students are not very tech inclined, and some of them are not computer savvy, or really do not want to work so much on the computers apart from using it for their social media activities. I would suggest everyone, this is the time for you to explore your interest in computers. Learn Word, learn Excel, maybe learn a basic coding language like Python, or just enhance your learning in computers by even learning a little bit of data structures or statistics or spreadsheets, because I believe that every discipline will require some technology, and I think this is a good time for you to learn and enhance yourself in technology. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have a final question from our student who is an art student, Tanvi Bharti.
Good evening, ma'am, or perhaps good morning for a few of you. I'm Tanvi. I'm 17. I'm a senior in high school, and I'm a design student. And being at home has certainly had an impact on my creativity and imagination, and my ability to come up with things for new pieces. And especially during the lockdown with limited art supplies at hand, I don't feel like I really have the environment and platform to express myself on canvas or paper and create something meaningful more than beautiful. So how do I remove these barriers and make use of my time right now? Because I'm very unproductive.
Tanvi, as a design student, actually I perfectly sympathize with you. But I would also like to share something with everyone here, including you, of course. Everyone knows that I'm not an artist or a designer, but at the same time, many link me and my organization with the same. And why they do that is because I'm absolutely passionate about art and design. Maybe it was something that I always wanted to do and never got a chance to do it. So if I were you, I would take this opportunity to see the works of different artists and designers, explore their work online and see what you find inspiring. Because the more you're going to research, the more you're going to start feeling that connect with art and design, which I believe is not going to happen in isolation. Like for instance, EdNet also has an art school. And interacting with like-minded prospective artists, connecting them connecting with them, just not like competitors, but even as comrades, discussing with them, about everyone's individual interests can be very inspiring. So I don't, and of course, it's a great thing to go to YouTube and see how different artists are teaching art and design, line drawing, etc. online. And in fact, even EdNet teachers are also teaching, trying to teach to the best of their capabilities, art and design to the students online. So I think you can really explore yourself in different ways instead of feeling that you do not have that physical presence or that direct one-to-one interaction with an art teacher. I think you can look at all these different aspects of enhancing yourself as an artist.
Right. Thank you, ma'am.
You won't get this opportunity again, Tanvi.
Yeah, there's so much free time at hand. So yeah, thank you.
Great. You're welcome. I have a few questions also, which I've just got it on chat here. And I would like to go through these questions, yes. So one of the questions says, now is the time, people say that now is the time to explore, but how do I do that when I can't step out? Now, this is a brilliant time to learn a new hobby or even explore any kind of interest. So in my opinion, do things when you did not have time due to schools and tuitions. Now, I have read a lot of college applications, essays where students have learned musical instruments, dance, cuisine, cooking, creative writing, poetry, stand-up comedy, personal grooming, even classic games like chess and even DIY, that is do-it-yourself projects, through YouTube and other such platforms, which are full of tutorials actually, I mean, this is a fantastic way of learning. And this was before COVID-19. So now that we are in COVID-19, it will be a good time and it will be great fun to experiment, fail, and succeed. So as long as you enjoy the process, don't be scared to experiment. Just have fun. Do some volunteer work, like take social initiatives. It would be a good idea then to involve yourself in some kind of social work, including online fundraising, spread awareness about health, safety, measures to be taken, and so on. NGOs like Give India and Goonj are working to donate food parcels and emergency kits. Getting in touch with such organizations and even with other NGOs who might need your assistance in various ways is also a good way of being productive. So you can explore a lot of things while sitting at home, something which you may not have been able to do so if you had a packed day when school was open. So use this opportunity. And we also have Mrs. Setia, who's going to be joining in and who's going to let you know a few ways as to how you can volunteer online.
Yeah. So I
have another question which has come up because I am running short of time and I really need to move fast. So this is the last question I'm going to be addressing. And the question says that I'm in class 12 and I'm planning to apply to the US. I am unable to streamline or focus and understand what I need to do now and how. I am so confused and irritated. Wow. Ooh, okay. So let me read this question again. So I'm unable to streamline or focus and understand what I need to do and how. I am so confused and irritated. Okay, let's say to start with, don't be confused and irritated. I even today believe that write down everything. That's the way you can get clarity. Yeah. So to start with, you can start with standardized test preparations. Though the dates have not been announced as yet, there will be some news in the upcoming months. Though the SATs and the SATs stand cancelled as of yet, it is a good idea to sign up for prep sessions now and get a head start. I would also advise the student, all the students, in fact, who are applying this year, to start preparing their college essays. The EdNet team is working within our regular office hours timings, and be contacted for appointments anytime between 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. for brainstorming session, prompts, and guidelines. So finish your written requirements early so that you can rest easy during the application period. And most importantly, make a plan of action you can do with us or your parents, but have one, as you need that focus and clarity. Having said this, I think Gayatri has something to share on the survey or the research that we had conducted with the parents. So can you just quickly go through that research? Yeah?
Sure. So I have selected some top questions out of it.
Yeah.
So we have this question here. So we conducted a research on the parents and the responses to this lockdown. So the question here says, is your child following a proper routine? As you can see, we have a percentage of 35.7% of parents saying somewhat, that they're not very positive about that students are following a proper routine. 35.7% of parents says no, they are not. And we have a limited of 28.6% of parents saying yes, that yes, their child are following a proper routine. So I think, of course, due to this, it's not been very comfortable for students to carry out their normal and school routine.
Yes. So having said this, I'm going to quickly go through it because I really have some very good speakers whom I want. I'm sorry because,
Sure. So we have another question that can give everyone an idea. As the question says, have there been any adverse effects on their sleeping and eating habits? We have about 71.4% of parents saying yes, that the sleeping and eating habits have been adversely affected. About 21.4% of parents said no, and we have 7.1% of people saying too many things are going on, so sleep late. Then we have one more question, which says, are the students spending too much time on gaming activities, Netflix, online streaming, and has it been a concern for you as parents? Due to the percentage, we see that about 35.7% of parents saying no, and 35.7% equal percentage saying somewhat, that yes, it has been, the students are spending too much time on online streaming platforms. And then we have 28.6% of parents saying 100% yes, that their children are spending too much time online. Then this leads to my final question here, that do you think the student is maximizing his time during lockdown period? We have a limited percentage of parents saying 21.4% of parents saying yes, that students are maximizing. A larger percentage of 42.9% and 35.7% of parents saying no and somewhat.
Thank you so much, Gayatri, for sharing with us your the research, the survey that you have just collected through the questionnaire that was distributed to all the students, to all the parents. And I'd like to thank all the parents for taking their time out to fill in that survey. So I wish I could address this in more detail, but as I mentioned that we are running short of time, I just want to conclude this survey with a special note for the parents, So when I look back at my own time, when my kids were in school, I remember indulging in activities that they were passionate about. This was my way of communicating with them getting to know them as not just my kids, but also as individuals. Of course, we didn't have to deal with the lockdown back then, and if we did, I'm sure that the Sondhi family would have taken this opportunity with a prayer of gratitude for getting more closer and developing stronger bonds for life. I know these are trying times for the parents too, but you must set some time aside for the children every day, even if it is just 20 minutes. All of us have additional work from home responsibility, household chores, and it is important to establish a combined routine activity for you and your child. You can exercise together or you can engage in a hobby. Give your children choices. This helps them inculcate a responsibility, a sense of responsibility and confidence. Ask them what they want to do with their own free time. Now that they're going to go out is now that they're not going out is not an option. You'll find kids coming up with some very creative indoor activities or ideas too, which you must accommodate and inspire and encourage. This helps them develop out of the box thinking as well. Keep your kids connected to their friends, grandparents, teachers, and other loved ones through video calls and other digital platforms. This is a fun, mutually bonding exercise which helps build empathy, compassion, and life values. You may conduct these online play dates through Ludo or Housey, or even interesting classes with the cooperation of parents and teachers. Everything doesn't have to be academics. Everything is not about studying, because there's so many other activities where the kids can develop their own life skills. So give them that opportunity, right? I mean, sometimes whenever you're doing it in your full best capacity, I'm sure about that. But, sometimes it's important to give them that space, right? So you can praise your children for their participation in household chores. Make them responsible for their home too, and not just their room. It's a very common thing in India for kids not to be involved in cooking or cleaning and washing. But try to understand that their resistance, if you tell them to do that, or their hesitation, is only because they are new to these tasks. So put it in appreciation. So put in some appreciation at such times. This is a good time to evacuate stereotypes with gender roles and allow healthier social conditioning for a balanced approach to life. Most importantly, in this manner, you are preparing them for college overseas. Remember, when they go and they leave home, they have to learn to live independently. So why not start the training right now? As parents of the teenagers who should have, y'all should think about having conversations about their interests, their goals, their choices in life. Help them open up, trust you. Any kind of constructive criticisms and feedback is important to guide a child, but it is also equally important to be their friend. Listen to what they have to say. Undertake a bonding activity together. Assist them with their dilemmas in both personal and their professional life and aspirations. Because remember, each child is unique, and each one of them have specific timelines of decision making. You must be empathetic to this need and allow them some more free will. So I'm not saying that they should just watch Netflix or stay up the whole night. But what I'm trying to say is that there has to be a routine, there has to be bonding in all kind of activities, some which is with the family, some which is with the friends, some is with relatives, some with teachers, and some with just like-minded communities of friends. So that's what I need to tell the parents. And having said that, I just had to sum it up, because now I'm going to pass it on to Gayatri, who is now going to be introducing our speakers
Thank you, ma'am.
To the audience. Yeah.
Thank you. So I'd like to first introduce our speaker, Ms. Dr. Vasui Agning Setia. She is an executive director for the Foundation for Drug-Free World, India. Her prolific experience accounts for her work with significant organizations such as UNICEF, Bintane Electronics, NASCOM, and the British Council. Her own venture, Free Drug World India, has been in existence since 2016 and has reached over 6 lakh individuals in combating drug abuse amongst the population across 19 states and with a volunteer base of about 700 people across India. She will be taking us through the importance of volunteer work, which I hope every student is very keen to know. And in the time of this crisis, how can we contribute as students and parents to this philanthropic aspect? So, Mrs. Setia.
Thank you, Gayatri. Thank you. And hello, everyone. I want to thank EdNet for giving me this opportunity to connect with the students and share my passion and the work that I do. I'm executive director, like Gayatri said, for Foundation for a Drug-Free World India. We represent Foundation for a Drug-Free World International, which is a non-profit public benefit corporation. And our sole purpose is to eradicate drug abuse through education and awareness. Currently, we are the largest non-governmental anti-drug educational organization in the world, active in approximately 180 countries. And in India, like Gayatri just mentioned, I can't say cover, but we have reached 19 states through 700 odd volunteers. And every day there are tens of volunteers who join up. So it's just like growing by leaps and bounds. And that's very satisfying. It's very satisfying because we see that there are enough number of people who are suffering and want to do something about it. Someone that they know in their families or in their vicinity is affected by this, this problem. And we see ourselves as Drug-Free World India, we see ourselves as a uniting force in this war against drugs. There's a war against drugs. There's a lot of drug promotion and glamorization that is happening, whether it's in movies, social media, through your, social circle, everywhere. It's considered okay. In fact, it's considered a little odd if you decide to stay clean and decide to make a choice to live a life free from all of these things. So we encourage each and every endeavor anywhere in the country, anybody who's making an effort to fight this, to educate and prevent drug abuse, educate about drugs and prevent drug abuse. We support them with the materials that we have. We have amazing materials, and we support them with guidance. So our main focus, the way we work, is that we have a curriculum. It's a very, very expansive and extensive curriculum for teachers, for educators, for parents. We introduce them to that. We train them on utilizing that curriculum. And the name of this curriculum is The Truth About Drugs. Because we believe that nobody gets into drugs with an idea to become an addict. Nobody gets into alcoholism or anything with an idea that they will become an addict. They get into it with a purpose to solve something that has not worked. They want to fit in, or they just want to not be different, or they want to achieve something, and they are misguided. They are given some false information. So we encourage people, young people, old people, parents, educators, government, law officers, the armed forces, medical communities, every agency we can find. We encourage them to educate themselves with the truth about drugs, the right data. Nobody shows you exactly what happens when you get addicted, how families fall apart, how lives get disturbed. So besides this curriculum, we also have anti-drug booklets that we distribute at major events. Internationally, we have distributed thousands and thousands of booklets at the Olympics, at the Euro, football. In India, we are at every pinkathon, at bikeathons, marathons. We tie up with the marathon agencies so that our booklets are given in the runner kits. We are at Rahagiri. We try to, reach out to every citizen.
So tell me, Vasu, that how can the students, how can these kids volunteer in your organization, for instance, online, because we just have that, how can we be partaking or participating in social activities without leaving our own home? So can you just provide some light on
as
that?
you can see, we are targeting the entire nation. We are looking at each and every citizen of our country being educated on drugs, because if you have to do something, at least educate yourself on it, right? And the situation where we are, we realize that, our main thing was to go out and distribute booklets. And that is something which we were curtailed as well. How do we operate? How do we function? And thankfully, we are also blessed this generation that we've got the social media. So even the volunteers can help us by helping us with content on the social media. We do a lot of surveys, a lot of research. Help us with that. We will train you to be speakers. If you want to be presenters, to present the truth about drugs, you can set up webinars. We can set it up for you where you can deliver those webinars, because when a young person hears this from another young person, the impact is different. When you hear it from somebody who's tried it, lost it, the impact is different, right? So we encourage each and every young person to join us. In order to volunteer, the first step is to fill up the volunteer form. We cannot work with you unless we know what motivates you, what you want to do. And in the volunteer form, there is a long list of ways in which you can help. Now, if you understand that I'm operating in 19 states with 700 volunteers, most of them I haven't even seen, I haven't met. And we have been utilizing our website and our training modules to train them, to work with them. So the same way we can work with, you if you want to volunteer. So first thing to do is fill up our volunteer form. I will share the website address with Gayatri as well. I can share it right now right now over here, and go through that. Once I receive your volunteer form, we will direct you to an online training program, which is for free. It's not too long. It is a training program that you will have to go through. And then we have many, many ways in which you can participate. Like I mentioned, you can help build content for our social media platforms. You can get trained as a presenter. You can conduct Drug-Free World, Truth About Drug webinars. You can help build mailing lists. You can help making phone calls. You can help in research and the surveys that we do from time to time. You can write articles, songs, poems. If you want to make a poster, there's so much that I can use. And believe me, I need your help. I need your help. I have a target of 103 billion people, 100.3 billion people, and it can't be done without all of you participating. So when you participate and you work with us, you will be taking photographs. You will be making a record of what you do, which we will again share and use. We have people who sponsor us, and they need to know that we're using this material appropriately. So you will be given a commendation, a certificate for the work you do. As soon as the lockdown is over, you will get your own personal starter kit, which will have a t-shirt and enough material for you to spread the message as an outreach program as well. Since we're an international organization, when you do this work and you enjoy it and you feel that you are able to contribute and you go to a college of your choice, I'm pretty sure that we will find a local chapter to connect you with over there as well, so you can continue the good work and use the skills that you have learned while you are with Drug-Free World India. Note my website and fill up the volunteer form now. If you have any questions, Gayatri will give you my contact number, and I'll be happy to connect with each and every one of you and guide you and help you and show you how you can help me and all of us. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Vasri. That was fantastic. I mean, you've taken in all the volunteers, someone who's coming from an art background, someone who's a creative writer, someone who's a marketer. You got everyone all together in one capsule. That's great. I mean, I'm sure there'll be a lot of EdNet students who would want to volunteer and work with you for this honorable cause.
Absolutely.
And they said that, you know, it's an international organization, so they can get themselves connected wherever they are. It's a fantastic opportunity. And I'm definitely going to talk to a lot of my students to avail of this kind of an opportunity. Thank you so much. It was so interesting. Thank you so much, Gayatri. Now, I think Emily, Gayatri, you want to introduce Emily, please?
Sure, ma'am. So Miss Emily, she has a prominent academic background in public policy studies, as well as higher education administration and enrollment management from distinguished universities like Duke and University of Miami. She is also very well versed with college level counseling and post-secondary education, with over 15 years of work experience, especially in Indian and Southeast Asian applications for college admissions and selections. So Miss Emily, she will be informing us the impact of the pandemic on the US students and how she, as a college advising consultant, can guide the students in optimizing their current routines, something I think all of us are very keen to know. So Miss Emily.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's morning time here in New York. I hope that all of you had a great day, and we're getting ready to start ours here. But yeah, so things in the US are probably pretty similar to what you guys are experiencing in India, and, you know, motivating my students, getting them focused, thinking about college, it's not so far off. And there were some really great suggestions that Niharika had already gone through. And so I don't want to be repetitive, but just kind of recapping some of the things that she brought out. I think that figuring out what your interests are right now is really helpful. And this is what I'm sharing with my students too. This is a great time to explore. There's career surveys that you can do online and just kind of figure out what you might want to do. You know, sometimes there's the internal pressures of trying to decide what you want to do as a working professional, but there's plenty of time to research and figure that out. I think a great idea to help you along that path is if there are any colleges or universities, especially here in the US, that you might be looking at, look at some of the majors that they have and dig a little bit deeper and maybe look at some of the faculty lists and see if there's any faculty that are doing research in areas that you're interested in. It'll just give you a better idea of the type of work that you might be expecting if you were to go along the same path. And I know, you know, the professors that I worked at universities that I worked at, and so I worked at the University of Miami, Emory, and the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. And I know that any faculty members, if they heard from a prospective student, whether it was someone in the US or India, they would be very responsive and would love to share ideas about their research and things that you might be able to do as a high school student. And so just getting back to figuring out what it is that you're really interested in and finding ways to explore that a little bit more. I know that EdNet does a really great job of this, but continuing in your college search and looking for ways to engage. Niharika had already mentioned the virtual tours and webinars. Definitely take advantage of those. You know, the colleges miss seeing you guys, and so they miss having students on campus. They miss that engagement, and so finding ways to reach out, even over the internet, through emails, is really helpful for students, and that's what I'm sharing with mine. Kind of fine tune what it is that you're looking for. I mentioned academics, majors. Think about some of those personal factors. You know, what's important to you? Do you want to be in a big city? Do you want to be in more of a traditional liberal arts type of campus? And so really fine tuning what you want out of the college experience, maybe connecting with some of your fellow alums from your high school that have gone on to some of these colleges. Those are great ways to find what college might be right for you. I also thought that in terms of the classes that you're taking right now, kind of looking ahead to what you might be taking next year, maybe now is a good time to reach out to some of your teachers and say, I've got a little bit of time on my hands. Is there anything that I can do in advance of next year to put myself in a better position? Because colleges and universities definitely want to see your 12th grade marks and want to see that you're taking strong classes and that you're doing well in them. So any type of extra pre-work that you can be doing, I'm definitely recommending that for my students. The extracurriculars as well. Again, we've gone through this and finding ways to engage. Drug-Free World India sounds amazing, and so definitely a plug for them to get involved. But there are lots of organizations that are looking for students to help with online activities. It also might be a good time to reflect on COVID and kind of its impact on you on more of a kind of a micro scale, and figuring out, you know, how has this impacted me, and have some reflections on that, and finding ways in your community to connect with others that might be feeling the same, or doing some community work. And then I can't put in a big enough plug for going ahead and starting on your college essays. You've got months and months before they're due, and so many of my students just love to wait until the very last minute. But I think that starting early is a great idea, and figuring out topics. EdNet is really helpful in fine-tuning, again, what you might want to write about for college admissions. So I would say take advantage of this time, and feel free to reach out to me, or obviously you're in good hands with EdNet, but happy to be a resource for those of you that might be looking at some of the US colleges.
Oh, that's great, Emily. Thank you so much. Can you hear me? Oh, okay. I thought that that's really great. In fact, you know, I need to connect with you to really understand as to what are the Americans, or you can say US citizens, doing at this time of the lockdown, you know. And thank you so much for being a part of it. I know it's 8:30 in the morning, but I just want to say it's great seeing you.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. We have Karen now. So, Gayatri, you want to talk?
Sure, ma'am.
Karen, please.
Yeah, it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Karen Kashmanian Oates, Professor Biology and Biotechnology and Peterson Family Dean of Arts and Sciences since 2010 at Rochester Polytechnic Institute. Her academic pursuits in biosciences led to a distinguished PhD in biochemistry from George Washington University Medical Center. A nationally recognized scientist, science educator, and higher education leader, her research interests also lie in science and engineering, public health, business, higher education partnerships, and K-12 science and mathematics education. Alongside, she is also a critical member of EdNet's association with US professors for Indian students-led research projects. Karen has a host of awards to her name, including Distinguished Public Service Award, the highest civilian honor presented by the city of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. As an eminent researcher, she will be explaining more regarding research activities and how students can benefit from these undertakings. Ms. Karen.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here today and to give you a sense of what I believe one of the most important things about your application to colleges is going to entail. You as a student are going to have to really answer the question, what did you do during this time? How did you use this time? So colleges and universities across the US, this is going to be the question that is asked. And to answer that question, I think we're really being able to look at some of those earlier questions that came up, questions about keeping yourself motivated and having a design and expressing yourself. So with EdNet, we've created a whole series of undergraduate research opportunities for students, a way in which you could utilize this time to answer that kind of question that you've always had. As a faculty member, project-based research is going to be an important part of your academic career. You're going to be doing research that's based on a question that you have. That could be very motivating for you during the summer and during the academic year. It could be one which provides you the opportunity to write a paper, create an infographic, to express yourself not only in the research design and the actual conducting of the research, but also afterwards as you put everything together. being able to say to an institution during this time that during the summer, you took this opportunity to do research, which is a basic kind of criteria that we would use to look at the candidates coming into an institution, is going to be a really great enhancement for you. And EdNet is doing a really good job setting up a series of faculty across the globe who are willing to work one-on-one mentoring a research project with you. I can give you an example of one that I'm working with EdNet right now. I have a student in Singapore who is working on sleep. She has questions about sleep and mood. So we've designed a research project around her interest. So when someone earlier today said, how do I keep myself motivated? Well, one of the things I think is the most exciting thing about keeping yourself motivated is doing something that is really relevant to you and your work. So I'll end with that, and know that you can go through EdNet to look for opportunities to do undergraduate research and when you're still in high school. And we'll work on having a product that you could be proud of, whether it be a paper, an infographic, which I do often with the students when they're done, put this all into some kind of a visual, or a press release, some type of product that you could be proud of during this time when you're really sequestered like everyone else. Thank you.
That was absolutely great. Thank you so much, Karen, and connecting with us. I think it's early there too, just like Emily. We are really looking forward, just like as Karen said, that we have put in a team of professors who are going to help and assist the students, mentor them in different ways, article projects, etc. During the COVID, during these summer months, and come up with in areas which is of their interest. And Emily, who has been so involved in college admissions over 15 years in UNC, in Miami, in Emory University, I'm sure she'll be able to understand that maybe, this could be quite relevant in the college applications or college resumes, right? Am I right, Emily? Okay, great. Everyone's muted because of this. Thank you so much, Karen, for being with us. And I'm going to catch up with you real soon again. Yeah? Thank you. And our next speaker and the last speaker is Dr. Sonia, and she is a professor of philosophy from Delhi University. So I would like Dr. Sonia to join us, please. And is Dr. Sonia there?
Yeah, yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Dr. Sonia, hello.
Yeah, hello everyone.
I think Gayatri is going to give you a brief introduction, and she is also a very, very important member and a part of EdNet's research initiative. And she's from Delhi University, and Gayatri is going to give a brief introduction, and she would like to say a few words too. Thank you. Gayatri, you want to introduce Dr. Sonia, please?
Yes. I'd like to introduce Dr. Sonia Mehta, who is a doctor of philosophy. She is currently an associate professor at the Department of Philosophy at the University of Delhi, which has about 70 plus colleges under it. She has a position that has led her to almost continuing 15 years from now. And with a string of laurels, distinctions, and awards in academia, she possesses extensive experience and expertise in her discipline, and has been an integral part of critical conferences, workshops, and seminars, in addition to having several publications to her name. Dr. Sonia, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Gayatri. First of all, it's a privilege for me to share this platform with everyone, mainly with the students, higher students, 11th and 12th standard. Being a professor in philosophy, normally we don't have philosophy at the school level. So why philosophy? My lecture would be a short one and a crisp one because of the paucity of time. It's already 7:07, but I will make it interesting. Philosophy, it's a mother of all subjects and impart wisdom and in-depth understanding of perennial questions arising in our minds. It enhances cognitive abilities by allowing us to critically examine the concepts and broadening our understanding. Philosophy students dominate verbal as well as analytical and competitive tests. As in recent survey, we can see on GRE score shows, students with philosophy background tend to analyze good reasoning from bad to wrong, from moral to immoral, which makes them to take wiser steps in life. So if we concentrate on philosophy, how it is related or how it is going to help the students at 11 and 12 standard, it's a major issue. And right now, when we are in the COVID-19, when we have no face-to-face classes going on, so normally we used to have seminars, workshops, conferences at our college level and even at the department level. So we can help you out through EdNet team. If you want to be a budding research author, if you want to write something, you can start from this beginning, from your 11th standard only. It's not necessary that only you are from philosophy background. Even if you are from science background or humanities or even from other stream like commerce, you can link your subject, the subject in which you are having your passion and interest, you can link it with your other discipline also relating with the philosophy. So as a mentor, you can take me or through the EdNet team. I can help you out how to write the research articles. Even we can have the summer workshops also, skill enhancement workshops are also going on right now. If you see at the DRC website, I will share the link or through Gayatri or even here also. You can check out right now also we are having many online summer workshops, even project work is going on online, even small panel discussions are also going on. So in which being from 11th and 12th standard, you can participate as a volunteer. And being a volunteer, you can get the certificate also, which will definitely boost your resume. Later on, if you start writing now, if you have any interest in fine arts, liberal sciences, or whether you are having interest in philosophy of science, philosophy of mind, feminism, environmental, or ecofeminism, these are some topics which are my specialization other than from the philosophy as a main focus. So you can, I can guide you how to write about, how to go about for the proposal, how to start the research project, which later on definitely help you out to write your project independently. Right now, being in 11th and 12th standard, it won't be a right stage to publish independently, but through EdNet team and through a proper mentor, you can flourish your writing skills, how all is required. Other than from this, even writing your project, you can submit your project at this moment with the mentor, with the EdNet team, to apply for a project in UGC, MHRD, or even ICPR is there, Indian Council of Philosophical Research Institute is there. You can apply there as a volunteer, as an intern. You can be an intern to any professor also. If you have a particular field through EdNet, we can have other professors also in my department, in my college, even at the Delhi University level. We can have other professors which can help you out. Even myself can also help you out, being a mentor. To write how to go about, and you can utilize your time writing your articles which later on can be published, or you can critical thinking which is major is there in philosophy, which can boost you to write something. Even if you are if you have a passion in other fields like fine arts or dancing or instruments, vocal music, or anything which is your passion at this moment of COVID, or even in your school standard, as philosophy is not there at the school level. But we are trying with MHRD to inculcate any one, at least one subject from philosophy as a major whole, like ethics is there, social dilemmas are there, ethical viewpoint regarding social dilemmas, economical dilemmas are there, to how to cope up with the life that we are having right now in COVID period, during COVID period. Even for law also, you can relate philosophy with law. Your judiciary level assignments can be done. You can be a volunteer for paralegal certificate courses are also there, which I normally used to organize at my college level, in which we have volunteers from schools also, from colleges, from undergraduate, from postgraduate, which you can work. We can have a visit to courts. Right now we cannot visit as a face-to-face, but later on, or even online discussion we used to organize. yesterday only, I have organized one conference with the judges and from the Supreme Court and from the lawyers also from the High Court, how to cope up with the domestic violence. That is mainly the current issue regarding the families is going on because of the COVID-19. Everyone is at home. So how to deal with that? What are the solution refer to that? So these are some of the online short-term courses. Even we are organizing 2-3 days workshop also on designing, on even on digital literacy work is also going on. Cyber crime is also going on. So
wow.
if it's a wider, yeah, it's if you go through with the DRC website, which is dr.duac.in, if you go through there is a portal. This form is available. You can apply through it, through EdNet also, through me also, and voluntary online. You can work for it, which definitely boosts your CV and your critical thinking part also. So you can there can be a productivity even in the lockdown time. It's not only Netflix, Prime Zone and everything. Other thing can also be done other than from this, and from home it's easier to, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
But I think Netflix is also important.
Yeah, definitely it is important. Even
on the lighter side.
Yes, but ma'am, I have my PhD student who is doing a film study in philosophy. So widely it is related to all the themes. Philosophy is not as boring as it is presented, that philosophy is boring, but it is a mother of all the subject. It inculcate in you the abilities which is very much required in this particular time period.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Perfect. But I didn't know that online, the students can work right now online with Delhi University as volunteer work.
Yeah, they can just.
And we're having even summer workshops and sessions. That's interesting. I must look more deeper into it and see how the students can get involved. You know, I mean,
yeah, sure.
Right now I'm called the devil because I think I'm taking away a lot of their sleeping time and eating time, free time, and making them do tasks. Which they think is so much more difficult, than going to school, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's really absolutely fantastic. It's great, and because we're running short of time, I just want to thank you all, and the whether it's Emily or whether Karen and Vasi, Mrs. Setia, or it has been Sonia, Dr. Sonia, we've got some brilliant insights by you all, and I think that the students and the parents also pitched in with some valuable and pertinent queries. I'm so glad that you all could join us for this informative session, and I thank you all for your participation today. I sincerely hope that we were able to resolve your queries and confusion to a great extent, and that our suggestions will help you carve a more positive path until the schools and the colleges open up again. I'm sure we will be back soon with many more interactive sessions for you all. Also remember that even though the going is tough right now, we are still blessed to be home, safe and healthy. So stay positive, stay productive, and stay motivated. I now end this seminar by wishing my students and the parents and everyone who's here good luck, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you.